How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Bear Reviews. Back to get another review. A little bit of Growler time. In the form of Kelso Brewing's Nelson IPA. Yeah, Kelso. I've actually had bits and pieces of Kelso over the years. It's a brewery. It's been around quite a while. A lot of brewers have kind of meandered through their brewery over time. A lot of the new school kind of New York brewers have kind of floated through Kelso throughout the years, but we never got a ton of it out my way. But I've had cans here and there, but never anything fresh. And growler wise, didn't get this from the brewery. Actually got this from a service called Hopsy. It's kind of like a thing where you just kind of buy local beer and they deliver it to your door. I got some Groupon thing, ended up getting 4 growlers for a relatively cheap price. Figured I'd drink the beers, talk about the beers, and kind of see how these beers kind of come off from that service. So here we go. As far as what it says on this growler, it says Kelso Beer Company, Brooklyn, New York. Side here we have the tag. It says Nelson American IPA. I wonder what kind of hops they used in that one. Logo wise, not too bad. You know, is what it is, and that'd be that. So there you go. Little Nelson based IPA, hopefully fresh. That was kind of my thing with this. I was curious as to how the beer is going to come off as far as... Ooh, there's a big hiss on that one. As far as longevity, I guess you would say. You know, it's a growler service. I don't know where the beer comes from. I don't know if the actual breweries themselves fill the growlers and they send them to the service and they send them out to people. I don't know if they fill them themselves in-house. And I don't know how old they are. And that's kind of the gist, I guess, is what I'm trying to kind of ascertain here. Pinky finger. Just off white head. You know, not a big head, not a small head. You know, bit of creaminess to it, tight compact bubbles, and she's got a soft, very soft haze to her. Definitely a bit darker than what you expect from a typical IPA. A bit more kind of caramelly in color, a little bit of orange caramel kind of floating throughout there, and nice big kind of not aggressive carbonation, but a large kind of bulky kind of carbonation to it. It's got like a subtle haze to her. She looked like an IPA, bit on the darker side what most people get nowadays, but yeah, sure does. See if we can get a nose on her. Citrus, definitely citrus forward. Get a bit of citrus in there. It's a little bit pithy, a little bit rindy, but at the same time a little bit fleshy. So you can get in all aspects of it. There is a malt base to it that's sweet, nothing too crazy. I think I said this one of the other beers I got from the service, but it was kind of like Marisada vibes from it. So it's like a subtle washed out kind of caramel. Soft generic bitterness kind of floating around there, and that bitterness is kind of flirting on the edge of that kind of rindiness with a little bit of kind of weediness. That's pretty much it. Soft, bright, well, malty kind of nose to her. So, you know, a bit malt forward. Let's put it that way for an IPA. Especially nowadays. I shouldn't say for an IPA, I should say for the way IPAs are nowadays. So yeah, she looks the part, sure. She smells the part, okay. Let's see if she tastes the part. Cheers. Pretty much follows to a T in the nose. The big difference is the hops. I come off a bit larger than you expect based off the nose. Very kind of old school West Coasty though. And there is a soft kind of citrus / melon vibe underneath it. We're getting a bit of a kind of piney resonness from it. Didn't really get that on the nose. Got a little bit more kind of that weedy thing going on. So yeah, it's very West Coast leaning, with a little bit of East Coast sensibility. Malt is big, but not as big as I thought it was going to be based off the nose. And not too shabby of a beer. Pretty tasty. Chugger. You definitely drink a bunch of these. What was the ABV on this sucker? So 6. It's up there. It's not the smallest beer in the history of mankind. But this is the third growler I went through this service. And they do all taste like they have a little bit of time on them. Let's put it that way. And I don't necessarily think it's time in the growler. Because one was a little bit subtly undercarbonated for me. The other two were carbonated quite good enough. Let's put it that way. Where I think the kind of issue is, I think the beers they're getting, or the beers that are being put in here, are beers that are left over Ones that have been sitting around for a little bit, whether it be through just not selling or whatnot, or it just had too much and they just made too much. I don't know, but it tastes like the characteristics of the hop. If you're going to go through the Nelson realm of things, is just it's coming off too West Coast, coming off too piney, coming off too kind of citrus. Those are the flavors that are left behind. If you have a kind of multifaceted hop in those sweeter, kind of fruitier, kind of more hop, hazy hop for what people love nowadays. Kind of hops kind of fall off first, and you're left with that. Same thing went with the other two I had before this, or it could be the way it's brewed. But I'm kind of guessing it's a little mixture of both. Obviously by looking at it, they're not going for that New England hazy thing, so I'm not saying that's what they're trying to pull off here. But at the same time, I do believe there was a bit more of a hop character impact trying to be imparted on the beer, but I think it's been lost with a little bit of time, maybe, or maybe a little bit of oxidation from being in a growler. But I don't think they're that old. I just think the beer itself, in general, has seen some time. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is it one of the better American IPAs I've had as of late? It's not bad. It leans west. There's a little bit of east going on. Old school to a T. Kind of makes sense for a Kelso beer. So it's nice, but it's just not going to give what most people out there are looking for nowadays. Not necessarily even in the hazy IPA range, but in that kind of like new way to work with your hops kind of IPA range. It's a bit old school. So that's where you're really going to find your fans here in the old school realm of things. Value and availability, I got it super cheap because of the Groupon and all kinds of bullshit. So I don't even want to talk about the price points and availability. I assume it's a brewery only, but I do know Kelso does can, so you might be able to find it that way. And just say if you like what we like this, if you like old school beers, if you like West Coast IPAs with a little bit of East Coast sensibility, if that's what you look for in your beers, that kind of old schoolness, it's worth picking up because that's what I'm getting from it. Is it different, fresh? I don't know. Maybe someday I'll find out. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So if that's your jam, jam on it. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, anywhere in between, down there, words and stuff and things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped. Massive Beers, all four of those places if you want to check me out somewhere else. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice American IPA right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.